Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Forgotten Generation podcast with your host, Troy. I'm back for series two, part two. I just want to say a huge thank you to On Sky, Trisha, and Raj for their amazing series, You Voices and Unseen. Hope you all have enjoyed listening to those episodes. If you haven't as yet, go give them a listen before this episode. And this episode is a special one to kickstart this half of the season. September 2024 was the month where the Forgotten Generation podcast was born. And when you're listening to this, it will be its 1 year birthday. Woo! On Friday, the 5th of September, tomorrow. So I'm delighted to have past guests, Mabrookah and Henry, who have joined me to celebrate the pod. So I would like you guys to introduce yourself in one word. So, Henry.
Yes, one word. I know you've given me the briefing document for this, but I think I come up with a different answer every time. But I'll probably say observant.
Love that. I'm Mabrookah.
I would probably say dedicated.
Love that word. Oh, I think for me, I would say resilient because I know I keep maybe say this in like other episodes, but I feel resilient today. I feel so happy. I feel really like have such energy in myself. Yeah, I would say that. As it's lovely to have you both back for this very special episode, the anniversary one, the birthday one. Firstly, like, where have you actually been in your journey since the episode was out? Since your episode was out. So we'll start with Mabrookah. Where have you been?
So I believe my episode came out around December 2024. And during that time, it was during year 11, which is when I was doing my GCSEs. So I've kind of had to put my social action on a bit of a hold whilst I was doing that, as exams and academics were quite important to me. But I did manage to get some things done. For example, I launched the Amara Collective, which has been my dream group to start ever since I started my youth social action journey. It is a group specific to girls of colour in Rotherham, encouraging them to take part in youth social action. It's a little slow now, but I'm hoping as I become more consistent with it, since I no longer have exams to worry, I really hope it'll pick up and I'll hopefully get some new members soon. And alongside of the launch of my group, I've also been doing some work with I did some work with Hack, which is a charity in Rotherham, which are focused on helping women, particularly from ethnic minority backgrounds, help them from getting out of situations such as domestic violence. I was able to co-host their 30-year anniversary in February, and I've spent a few days volunteering with them. And I'm looking forward to more potential opportunities to continue working with them. And lastly, I guess to describe what else I've been doing was probably my work with Children's Capital Culture. In 2025, Rotherham is the world's first children's capital of culture, and I've been part of the programming panel since 2023. And since this has been the year of obviously the events, it's been really nice to be seeing how my voice and impact has been having a role in how this year's gone in terms of events taking place in my town. So yeah, that's everything I've done so far since December 2024, I believe.
Wow, just absolutely wow. Like you've honestly come a long way in your journey, like under social action and the group that you set up as well. You're just doing amazing, Rebecca. Like you really should be proud of yourself. So
So
yeah, it's just so amazing. Like you've come so a long way through like your episode. Like just well done to you.
thank you.
Henry, what about you? Where have you been in your journey since your episode was out?
Yes, I mean, when Mabrookah was talking just there, I had to actually check when my episode came out. And I realized it was March last year. I was like, oh God, do we have a time for a whole life update? Because my situation had completely changed since March last year. If you heard my episode last year, you would have known at that time I was 3 months since I've moved from Australia to the UK, and now it's been a year and a half. In fact, yes, nearly, January next year will be 2 years. So as you can imagine, I've probably done quite a bit of things, and I'm sure Troy is looking at me laughing because you're like quite a few things, maybe a lot of things. But I'm gonna keep it quite brief in this aspect. So since the recording in March, I became a trustee for how many organisations? You know what? Let me just go run through them. White Ribbon UK, which is educating the public and men and boys and young men regarding male violence against women and girls. So people might recognize the white ribbon, and celebrities might wear them, sports stars might wear them, pundits might wear them, and just general people in your local community might wear them and advocate for us. So yes, white ribbon's the first one. Second one is the trustee for Board Racial Diversity UK. So I'm a founding trustee in that. It's looking at how to bring in proportional representation of Black and Asian trustees in the trustee workforce, and also including young trustees as well. So looking at our mission at getting proportional representation. So in our heads, that is 60,000 Black and Asian trustees that we have to get into the force and also to retain. So that's something that's really important to us. I also became a board member of 64 Million Artists, so looking at cultural and creative ways to change your workforce, the way of working, thinking about new ways of how to embed creativity in our lives. That is something that's quite unique and quite special to me. I still am on the EY Foundation Youth Advisory Board. That one I'll be rolling off in December later this year when my term finishes. I don't know, at this time there's probably going to be a recruitment process on that new format of a board from next year. So, look out for that if you want to. And we also, the Mix Youth Advisory Board, we have gone through a merger with Mental Health Innovations, or as people might know, their sub-organised service, Shout UK, which is the first 24/7 crisis text message service in the country. So lots going on there. And by the time this recording comes out, actually, it would have been announced that I'm a trustee also for Footballing Foundation, Stevenage FC Foundation. So yeah, that's my rough life update. And also, probably the most important thing, I've also been selected to represent Great Britain at the Deaf Olympics in November. So I'm very looking forward to representing everyone in the across the four nations, and yeah, no, looking forward to it. So yeah, that's my very very snapshot life update.
I love your live update, honestly. Like you've you've done such a lot since our episode that was actually out in March. But wow, like what can I say? Like you really are like incredible with everything you've done. And all of those amazing roles that you will be doing is so rewarding and so incredible. And because you honestly should be proud of yourself and that.
Of course, no, no, just great to also say happy birthday to the podcast as well. I've seen you grow as well, Troy, and how the podcast has grown since my first episode that I've done for you in March, and just seeing the just amazing guests that you have brought on. This is why it's just such a joy to come back to help celebrate it and help celebrate the birthday, because it's really important to celebrate these milestones. So thank you.
Absolutely. And it's honestly so good to have you. But yeah, and so that brings me to what's been your favorite highlight or moment of being a guest on the Forgotten Generation podcast. So we'll start with Mabrookah.
For me, I feel like it was really hard to kind of pinpoint exactly what my favorite moment was, but I think just how comfortable I felt. Because I remember last time I was so nervous. It was like the first time I've ever been on something like this before. But you being the host, Troy, I think the way you ask questions and just get to know your guests on the show, it helps to make me feel really comfortable and able to say what I want to say. And I think that's probably just was my favorite part and still is of being a guest, that I don't really have to panic or worry too much about being on this show.
Oh, thank you. That is such a great response. It's so beautiful. Henry, what about you?
I mean, I don't know how to top that. That was just such an amazing response, but I'll try my best. I mean, my favorite probably highlight is probably afterwards when my podcast went out live. It's seeing how many people then followed me after that, more particularly probably from the I Will movement where Troy and I know each other and just the mutual connections we have there, and just seeing people react so positively about it and also just checking in, hearing if I sounded good, which I do. So that's nice. I can confirm I sound good. Some people don't like hearing their voices. So no, it was a real joy just to see people enjoy the conversation that you and I had together, and hopefully that inspired them or, you know, help them decide whether to be on the podcast in the future if you ever reached out to them, or just their social action and how they feel motivated to get going as well. So that's my highlight. Many highlights. My one highlight for you.
I love that. I absolutely love your highlights. So thank you so much, Henry. Oh, such such amazing um such amazing messages, guys. I'm like because I'm actually crying at this point. And so, what inspired you about the For Graduation podcast, Henry?
Well, I think I probably keep going from my last point. The inspiration of the podcast is just how many voices you reach out to, how many perspectives you reach out to, how many areas and sectors you reach out to. I know the podcast people are not seeing this, but Toy's crying right now with tears, I'm sure, with jubilation and joy and overwhelming emotion. But it is true. It's very important to have podcasters like yourself that allow people to have the space to feel comfortable of sharing their lived experience, their advocacy, their interests, their future plans, and I think that's really what inspires me to come on, especially coming back to celebrate it, just to highlight that recognition of all that you've done and all the people that you would have helped along the way. I'm sure many people that helped you along the way as well. So yeah, that's my inspiration.
Love that. I'm a bucko. What about you?
I have to totally agree with Henry. I think having a diverse range of people who come onto this podcast is not only inspiring for me, but for other listeners as well, because I feel like it goes to show that if people do want to get into youth social action volunteering, you don't necessarily have to go through one path or stream. And I think by showcasing all the amazing work that young people do and giving them the platform, as Henry said, it gives people who don't have that experience the confidence to do so and inspiration and have a lot more ideas of the ways they could go through making a difference, as they know they don't have to necessarily, I don't know, join their youth cabinet. They could actually just start their own campaign, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Incredible on responses. So lovely. Thank you, guys. And so, my next question, describe the podcast in one word and that you can tell a first time listener why they should follow and rate the show. So, I'm a We'll start with you.
I think empowering. I feel like it is a very empowering podcast. I think, from my interpretation from the podcast name itself, The Forgotten Generation, it kind of brings light to young people who have been underestimated for far too long, and especially with the things such as Votes of 16 finally coming out. It goes to show how long like the older generation do not believe in us. And I think you creating this podcast showing the amazing work that young people do, you're helping to change the narrative of young people that we're not lazy, we're actually doing these amazing things. And if the older generation were to open their eyes, you would actually hear what they're doing or see for themselves. And moreover, each episode is entertaining and insightful into the minds of other young people like me, and it makes me curious and interested to see what other young people are going to do in terms of their social action journey.
Absolutely. I absolutely love your message. So empowering. Henry, what about you?
Wait, can I say amen to that as well, please? I think that's not my word. That's one of my words. I mean, one word. I mean, how many one word can I have? So I think for me it would be, and it's such a cliche word, but it's probably really true. But community. So just the community you have from, it's in the title, the Forgotten Generation. I think the whole purpose of that is to bring a community of people who feel forgotten together, and come together to share their perspectives, their lived experience, their stories, their advocacy, as I mentioned before. And for first time listeners, if you're listening in, if you feel a sense of, feeling off the track a bit or feeling a bit lost in your life at the moment, and you want to hear about other people and have that kind of peer-to-peer listening, well, the Forgotten Generation podcast is that for you. And you can either go and listen to some of the sports people that Troy had on, some of the people in the education system, criminal system, climate change. I mean, you name it, he probably has it. So that's a really important aspect of the Forgotten Generation podcast, and I'm always very, very curious to see who Troy has on next, because it seems to be going in completely different fields week after week and seasons after season. So no, community is a really, really important word for me, which I associate with the Forgotten Generation podcast. So yes, definitely. Like, comment, and subscribe. Do you say that in the podcasting world, or is that a YouTube thing?
We do have, like, we do say like a comment, rate the show, like subscribe is like rate the show. But yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you so much, Emma, for that was like a wonderful response. And so the last question is, what would you want to see in the next few years? As was that like was that you, Henry?
Me, oh my God, you're asking me to plan the next few years of
Yeah,
the
it's a few
amazing
years.
podcast. So maybe, obviously the most obvious one would be bringing more voices, bringing more people. There are always people that feel forgotten. That would always be the case. They're never going to have a shortage of people that feel forgotten. So always expanding your community, always, bringing in more diverse voices, always bringing in more lived experience. There's never a shortage of stories. One thing as humanity is, you will never have a shortage of stories, because everyone's story is so unique to themselves. So never assume everyone's the same. That's always my saying. It's just, you never ever assume someone's life until you sat down, listened to them, and have a conversation with them. So over the next few years, I'd love to see you do more of that, maybe. And an in-person show, that might be an idea. Maybe a show that people can actually see the faces of, and see, put faces to name, so put voices to names and faces, all that kind of things. I think that would be such a testament of the growth of the show, and hopefully, I'll be involved in that one as well, hopefully. And maybe Mabrookah might want to be involved in that as well. So yeah, something in person, something that people can see, and something that people feel more tangible across. So yes.
Love that. Love that response, Emma. I'm a booker. And what do you want to see in the next few years of the pod?
I totally agree with Henry of the importance of just continuing to bring people from underrepresented backgrounds. But I think also I feel like it's really hard to say exactly what I want to see in the future, as I think as long as you continue to remain authentic and just continue with your personal, like, original message, I can just see it just doing amazing things. But maybe hopefully continuing to do maybe more segments. I know that, such as the one that Sky did, like Youth Voices, I think doing more segments for targeting underrepresented backgrounds, such as the Youth Voices one being for the LGBT community, maybe doing more underrepresented backgrounds in those segments.
I love that. I think that is definitely important and something I think we will definitely be bringing more into when we get to series 3 next year. But thank you guys so much for all of your insights, your voice, and your empowering, incredible and stories, and just your journeys that you've gone through, and to actually celebrate After the Graduation Podcast's birthday, first birthday. So thank you so much indeed for coming on today. And yeah, because you are honestly amazing. You're all incredible. Like, just keep going, never give up on what you believe in. I do hope I get to have you guys again on another like episode like this one.
Yeah, I want to just say, I mean, Troy, a podcast can't be great without its host. So the podcast is nothing
Yes.
without its host. So just, congratulations on your growth and everything that you've done since you started this. And take time to reflect back on where you started and where you are now. And always dream about the future. That's the most important thing. Got to keep going. And I'm just very looking forward to seeing the next few years and the many, many birthdays that this podcast will have, and seeing more people come into your community and have their voices and their interests amplified because of you, and linked back to their special episodes and have their special fabric woven into the Forgotten Generation tapestry, if you may. So just want to say congratulations, thank you, and happy birthday. So people that are listening in would not see, but I have balloons all over my screen just to show that appreciation and celebration of this very, very special moment. So yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you. Oh,
Thank you so much, Troy, for everything you've done.
I thank you so much, Mabrookah, and thank you so much for you guys coming on to really celebrate the pod's first birthday. Thank you to the listeners as well for following this journey. I wouldn't be doing it without you, so thank you. Please support the podcast by subscribing and rating the podcast. I'd love to hear what you like and what could be better for future episodes. If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram and I will .troy, and also on X I will _Troy. Tune in to next week's episode.